Imagine this. You just stepped off a 10-hour red-eye. You're exhausted, your eyes are dry, your back hurts, and all you want is to grab your bag, get an Uber, and pass out in your own bed. You walk up to the customs kiosk, hand over your passport, and give that polite, tired smile we all practice. But the officer doesn't smile back. He doesn't stamp your book. Instead, he points to your phone and says 4 words that will make your blood run cold. Unlock it for me. You hesitate. You hesitate, you think, wait, I have rights. You can't just look through my private life. So you say no. And that is when your life, as you know it, effectively pauses. You are pulled into a secondary room. No windows, just fluorescent lights and a metal table. They take your phone. They plug it into a machine. And while you sit there sweating, wondering if you cleared your browser history, they are copying everything. Every text, every photo, every location you visited in the last year. This isn't a movie script. This happens every single day at air. I'm Benny. I've spent the last 15 years at 35,000 feet. I've flown every route from JFK to Tokyo, London to LA. I've seen things in the galley that would make your hair curl, and I've seen passengers make mistakes that got them banned from flying for life. Most people worry about the TSA checking their shampoo bottle size. That is amateur hour. The real threat to your privacy isn't the guy checking your shoes, it's the data on the device in your pocket. Today, we are going to talk about the digital strip search. I'm going to show you exactly what agents look for, why your deleted folder isn't safe, and the 5 specific things you need to wipe from your phone before you even think about heading to the airport. And trust me, number 3 is something you probably have on your phone right now, and you have no idea, it's a red flag. Let's get real for a second. There is a massive misconception that the 4th Amendment, the one that protects you from unreasonable search and seizure, works the same way at the airport as it does in your living room. It doesn't. When you are crossing a border, or even entering certain security zones, you are in what we in the industry call a constitution-free zone. The courts have generally ruled that protecting the border outweighs your privacy rights. Now, as a flight attendant, I have a different relationship with security. We have the known crew member program. We bypass a lot of the hassle. But I watch you guys, I see the panic. I've had passengers come up to me mid-flight, terrified, because they realized they have something on their laptop they shouldn't. So, let's dive into the first thing you need to purge, and this is the one that catches the smart people, the digital nomads, the hustlers. You need to delete any chat logs, emails, or messages that even vaguely suggest you are working illegally. I saw this happen to a guy on a flight to London last year. Nice guy, sat in 4C. We chatted a bit. He told me he was going to the UK to consult for a few weeks, but was entering on a standard tourist entry. He thought he was fine because he wasn't getting paid by a British company, he was just working remotely. When he got to the border, they asked to see his phone. They opened WhatsApp. They searched for words like work, job, meeting, client. They found a text to his girlfriend that said, "Yeah, I've got a few meetings lined up in London, gonna make some good money this trip." Boom, entry denied. Detained, put on the next flight back to the US. You have to understand the mindset of a Customs and Border Protection officer. They are trained to be suspicious. To them, everyone is lying until proven otherwise. If you are traveling on a tourist visa, or even if you are a citizen returning home, and they suspect you've been doing business that you didn't declare, your text messages are the smoking gun. It's not just about illegal work though, it's about the context. You might have a text from a buddy that says, "Hey man, bring that stuff with you." Maybe you're talking about a specific brand of hot sauce, but to an officer looking for drug smuggling, stuff looks suspicious. Before you fly, you need to sanitize your communication apps. I'm not saying you need to be a criminal to do this. I'm saying you need to remove the ambiguity. If a text message can be misinterpreted, delete it. And don't just archive it, delete it. This actually brings me to a crucial point about how these searches work. They aren't just scrolling with their thumbs. If they decide to flag you for a forensic search, they plug your phone into a device, often something like a Celebrite machine, that can rip data out in minutes. They can see metadata. They can see when a message was sent and received. Now, you might be thinking, Benny, this sounds paranoid, I'm just going on vacation. Look, I get it, 99% of the time, you breeze through. But do you want to be the 1%? In my line of work, we prepare for the worst-case scenario every single time we push back from the gate. We inspect the emergency equipment, not because we expect the plane to crash, but because if it does, we need to be ready. Treat your digital privacy the same way. If you want to fly like a pro and avoid these traps, knowing the system is half the battle. If you're finding this useful, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping new travel secrets every week that the airlines definitely don't want me sharing. Alright, moving on to number 2. This one is huge for the younger crowd, or anyone who loves a good meme. You need to delete, or at least hide in a secure cloud-based folder that isn't logged in, any images or videos that could be considered explicit or obscene, especially if you are traveling to conservative countries. But here is the kicker. Even in the US or Europe, certain types of humorous images can land you in a federal interrogation room. I'm talking about memes, dark humor. You know the group chat I'm talking about. The one with your college buddies where you share the most unhinged offensive memes possible. You think it's funny, it's satire, but imagine a stone-faced officer scrolling through your gallery. He sees a meme about violence. He sees a meme about explosives. He sees a meme that references illegal substances. He doesn't know your sense of humor. He doesn't know it is a joke. He sees radicalization. He sees threat. I remember a case. This was all over the crew forums, where a passenger was held for hours because of a photo in his camera roll. It wasn't even his photo. It was auto-saved from a WhatsApp group. It was a picture of a controlled substance, a lot of it. He had never touched the stuff in his life. But because the photo was on his device, the burden of proof shifted to him. He had to prove he wasn't a dealer. And let's go darker for a second. If you have anything, and I mean anything, that involves minors, even if it's an innocent family photo that could be misconstrued in a weird way, get it off the phone. The scrutiny on that is rightfully intense. But you don't want to be in a position where you are explaining why your toddler is running around the backyard without a shirt on to a federal agent who is looking for a reason to arrest you. Just don't put yourself in that position. My rule of thumb, your camera roll should be boring. Pictures of your cat, pictures of your lunch, pictures of the sunset. If you have sensitive photos, whether they are intimate partner photos or edgy memes, upload them to a cloud service and then sign out of the app. Delete the local copy. Delete it from the recently deleted folder. Make your phone look like it belongs to a nun. This leads us directly into the third thing. And this is the one that most people completely forget about, because it's not a file per se. You need to clear your browser history and your cache. Specifically, look for searches related to the country you are visiting or leaving. Let's say you are traveling to Colombia or Mexico, and purely out of curiosity, you watched a documentary on Netflix about cartels. And then you Googled, how much is a kilo of coke? You aren't a dealer, you were just curious because you watched Narcos. But now you are standing at customs. The dog sniffed your bag. Maybe you stepped in something, or maybe the dog just signaled. They pull you aside. They look at your search history. They see, how much is a kilo of coke? Congratulations, you are now a suspected drug mule. You are going to be there for a very long time. They are going to take your bag apart piece by piece. They might even send you to the hospital for an X-ray or a body cavity search. All because of a Google search you made while eating popcorn on your couch. It applies to other things too. How to work under the table in country, visa overstay loopholes. How to bring cash through customs. These searches are red flags. They paint a picture of intent. And in the world of border security, intent is everything. They don't need to catch you doing the crime, they just need to suspect you are planning to do it to deny you entry. I had a passenger once, a young girl, crying in the galley. She had been held up because she had Googled how to live in the US without a visa 3 months prior. She was coming to visit her boyfriend, but that search history stayed in her Google account, logged in on her Safari browser. They saw it. They assumed she wasn't going back home. They canceled her visa right there. So before you fly, go into your browser, clear history, clear cookies, clear cache. Or better yet, use a privacy browser that wipes everything automatically. But don't rely on incognito mode if you leave the tabs open. Close the tabs now. Number 4. This is a financial one, and it's becoming more and more common as crypto and digital banking take over. Get your cryptocurrency apps and banking apps off your main screen. Or sign out of them completely. Here is why. When you travel internationally, there are strict rules about how much money you can bring in or out. Usually, it is $10,000 cash, but authorities are now looking at digital assets. If they search your phone and see a crypto wallet with $50,000 in it, they might ask questions. Where did this come from? Did you declare this? While the laws on declaring crypto are still a bit murky and evolving, the suspicion it draws is crystal clear. Large amounts of unexplained money look like money laundering. Furthermore, it's a security risk for you. There have been cases where corrupt officials in certain countries, I won't name names, but you know the spots, have forced travelers to unlock their phones and transfer crypto. If the app isn't there, or if it requires a complex 2FA that you don't have access to because your SIM card is swapped, you are safer. But sticking to the US v European border context, they are looking for means. If you are coming in as a tourist, they want to know you have enough money to support yourself so you don't work illegally. But if you have too much money, they want to know if you are laundering it. It's a Goldilocks zone. You want to show you have access to a credit card and a normal bank account. You do not want to show them an encrypted wallet with erratic transactions. I keep a travel mode on my phone. My main banking apps are hidden. My crypto apps are deleted. I can always reinstall them when I get to the hotel. The less information you volunteer, the better. And that brings me to the 5th thing. This is the open loop I hinted at earlier. This is the master key. Password managers, now. I love password managers. I use 1Password for everything. It's great security, but at a border crossing, it is a liability. Think about it. Your password manager contains the keys to your entire digital life. Your bank, your email, your social media, your medical records, your work servers. If an agent compels you to unlock your phone, and they see that app, they might compel you to unlock that. And if they get into your password manager, they have everything. They don't need to ask you for your Facebook password, they just copy it. I know flight attendants who actually travel with a burner phone for this exact reason. They leave their main iPhone at home and take a clean device with just the essentials: Uber, Maps, airline app, and WhatsApp. That's it. But if you can't do that, if you have to take your main device, sign out of your password manager. Delete the app, memorize the 1 or 2 passwords you absolutely need to get by until you reach your destination. Because here is the scary reality that we don't like to talk about in the industry. Once you hand that phone over, you lose control. I recall a conversation with a colleague of mine, a pilot. He's an older guy, flies the 777. He told me about a time he was deadheading. That's when we fly as passengers to get to another airport for a shift. He got pulled for a random check. He was indignant. "I am a pilot. I fly these planes." The officer didn't care. He took the pilot's iPad. The pilot had sensitive airline manuals on there. Stuff he is supposed to have, but also stuff that is proprietary security info. The officer started digging through it. The pilot almost lost his cool, which would have ended his career. He realized right then that his uniform, his stripes, his seniority, none of it mattered to the guy with the badge at the border. The playing field is not level. You are playing an away game every time you travel. So how do we protect ourselves? It's not about having something to hide. It's about maintaining the boundary of your privacy in a place that is designed to strip it away. Let's recap before you get to the airport. 1. Purge the work talk. No hustle texts. 2. Sanitize the gallery. No edgy memes, no sensitive photos. 3. Wipe the browser. No history that requires an explanation. 4. Hide the money. Delete crypto and high-value banking apps. 5. Remove the master key. Delete your password manager. But I want to leave you with a bonus tip, a little psychological trick I use. If you are pulled aside and they ask for your phone, be polite. But be slow. Don't be helpful. There is a difference between compliance and assistance. If they ask, "What is your password?" you give it to them. You have to. But you don't need to say, "Oh, and here is where I keep my photos, and here is my email." Silence in the galley. When we have a disruptive passenger, we lower our voices. We speak slowly. We don't escalate. You need to do the same. If you are nervous, you look guilty. If you are angry, you look dangerous. You want to be bored. You want to be the most boring person they have interviewed all day. A boring person has a boring phone. A boring person has photos of their dog and texts about what time dinner is. Be boring. There is a setting on iPhones and Androids now that is a lifesaver. It's called lockdown mode on iOS. It severely limits what the phone can do and blocks a lot of the data extraction tools. If you are really worried, turn that on. Also, turn your phone off completely before you approach the customs desk. When a phone is powered off, the data is encrypted at rest. When you turn it on, it requires a PIN, not just a facade. Facade can be forced. They can just hold the phone up to your face. A PIN cannot be forced as easily without a court order. Although in a border situation, they can still pressure you heavily. But having it powered off adds a layer of friction. It signals that you aren't just casually using it. I've been flying for 15 years. I've seen the world change. It used to be that you just had to worry about smuggling a bottle of wine. Now, you carry your entire life in your pocket. The exposure is massive. Don't let a forgotten text message or a stupid meme ruin your trip or your life. The TSA and CBP have a job to do, and I respect that. They are there to keep us safe, but the net they cast is wide, and innocent people get caught in it every single day. Don't be one of them. Clean your phone, fly smart, and next time you see a flight attendant looking exhausted in the customs line, give us a nod. We're just trying to get through the digital strip search too. I've got a whole other video coming up about the SSS on your boarding pass, the dreaded quad. If you ever see that on your ticket, you are in for a world of hurt. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to handle it. You don't want to miss that. Thanks for flying with me today. Keep your seatbelt fastened, and I'll see you in the next one.